Okay. Whoa. Idiot. Sorry.
I assume you meant him.
Yeah, he was. Absolute idiot.
Yeah. Hi everyone, welcome to Nightfall.Drives. Doug here. Today I'm on my way to my 4th recorded lesson for the IAM Advanced Driving course. I'm in an Aston Martin N400 today, thanks to James from the channel JM on Cars. We've switched cars for a few weeks, so you can enjoy the Evora for a bit. And I promise this is not just to annoy Alan and change cars during the course, which he advised against for consistency. I can already see why this is the case, why you should stick to the same car. As fun as it is to show you lessons in different cars, already the clutch is very different. The biting point here is right at the top of the travel, Evora's right at the bottom. It's got a fly-off handbrake, or sort of a fly-off handbrake, down on the right-hand side here. Steering response is very different. And engine braking, good actual brakes. Engine braking is less, so your acceleration sense stuff and approaching hazards using your acceleration sense, the car responds a bit differently. So I think the smoothness today may go out of the window. So apologies Alan for that, but I think we're going to be doing limit points, spoken thought, that sort of thing. Anyway, I'll get myself to Woburn and see how Alan's doing. Hi Alan.
Hello.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, and you? Yeah, nice to be back. Different car.
Yes, apologies first off for that.
No
not
problem.
ideal.
No problem.
But yeah, interesting nonetheless.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I always say that the sort of advanced driving, well, all driving really breaks down into two different areas. There's the sort of perception area, and then there's the mechanics. So obviously all the things that we've taught around, the actual limit points that we're going to look at again today, and all of the other sort of positioning on the road, the information, all of the system type elements remain the same. It's the mechanical bits that are different because we're in a different car. Obviously, different power, all of the elements of the car that make things a little bit different. And the thing that does tend to suffer when you move from one car to another is the smoothness, because obviously you've got to adjust to the car.
Yeah.
But that's not a problem. We are concentrating on the system, so we'll see how it goes.
Maybe slightly less smooth today, but then back in the Lotus for the rest of it.
Yeah.
Be, so.
Good.
Good. Okay.
So today's course. What we're going to do today. So at the end of the last lesson, we were looking at limit points again. So what we normally do on the sessions is we take what we finished with in the last session, bring that in at the beginning of this session, and then we'll see how that goes, and if that's going well, then we'll move on to something else. In this case, we'll move on to some spoken thought. But if it doesn't, we will maybe extend the lesson a little bit with limit points. But I don't tend to try and reinforce it all the time, because then it just gets a bit boring. And like I said at the beginning of the course, we want to make this a learning process, but also a fun learning process.
I suppose I can then work on it in my own time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We give you the sort of elements to work on it in your own time, and you know, what we don't want to do is get to the point where we're sort of, someone's going, oh, you know, I'll never get this, I'll never get this. So that's not the case. We'll just move on to something else, come back to it in a future session. So that's the plan for today. Limit points. Of course, we'll be looking at all the other stuff. Position in the road, positions of safety, but we'll focus on limit points, and then we'll move on to a bit of spoken thought.
Okay. Yeah. So if I start with the powder rechecks in the cockpit.
Yeah,
drills,
absolutely. We do that at the beginning of every session.
Yeah.
Yep.
So petrol, fuel, plenty of that. Oil is fine. Water, washers are working, and coolant's there.
Good.
Damage, no damage. Lovely car, James. Yeah, tyres look good as well. Same tyres as the Lotus.
Oh right, okay.
Same brand and model and stuff. So Pilot Sport 4S.
Good.
So yeah, should be at least
good advert for Michelin.
Yeah. If Michelin want to get in touch.
Yeah.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar, dollar.
Electronics. All seems fine. I'll get the dashboard on in a minute, the ignition in a minute. Rubber, I've already mentioned tyres actually as part of the damage, but
Yeah.
Tyres and windscreen wipers fine. And me, it's Saturday morning, feeling good.
Yeah. Weekend.
Yeah. So I suppose setting the scene. So Saturday morning could be plenty of.
Right, so what we're going to talk about now, have you read in the book about limit points?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're looking around to the point where you can no longer see the road around the corner.
That's right. So the limit point is the point where the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the road come together to form the furthest point that you can actually see the road surface. And by using limit points, we can actually manage our speed better. So as we approach a limit point, we would tend to ease off the accelerator to reduce our speed and get our speed right. Now, at some point, if you look in the book, that limit point will start to move. And what we're always trying to do, now some people talk about chasing the limit point. I don't like that terminology because we're not chasing anything. What we're trying to do is to actually match our speed to the speed that the limit point is moving. So when it's coming towards us, we're easing off the accelerator or using the brake to control our speed. And then as the limit point moves, we're back on the accelerator to try and match our speed to the speed that the limit point is actually moving. Now, we're going to go across a series of country roads. And I'll tell you now that some of them are quite significant in their bends. So this is a good road to actually be looking at limit points. So again, what I'll do is, as we're going along, I'll explain the limit points and what we should be doing. And then as you get that, I'll let you judge it.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah. It's
So-
one of those things that's kind of constantly evolving in the.
And this is a real good match for accelerator sense, because some of it you can actually come off. If you see the limit point coming towards you, you can come off the accelerator, get your speed down. Obviously, if we need to change gear, we'll change gear. And we will do that brake gear separation if we need to. And then as the limit point moves, we're back on the accelerator. So some roads, if you get it right, it means that you can actually traverse that road without going anywhere near your brakes. That won't be the case on some parts of this road. We will have to adjust our speed significantly. But I'll keep you honest for the first bit, and then once I've talked you through a couple of times and we're getting it all sorted, then I'll hand over to you and you can start judging.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, let's have a go. Neutral,
Yeah.
clutch down,
Good.
ignition on. It's a start button.
Oh. Wow.
And all the lights are off, apart from the handbrake.
Cool.
And I think when we get going, the tyre pressure one will. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, because it.
That's it. That's all it is.
Okay, cool.
The monitors are gone.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, not to worry. As long
Batteries
as,
or something. Yeah.
Okay. So when you're ready, then we'll set off.
Onto quiet mode. Show you later.
And when we get to the end of the road, we're going to turn left and then immediately right.
Okay.
We're basically going over there.
Yeah.
So here ahead we can see that the limit point is quite well into the distance. So as we approach a limit point, so here we can see that we've got cyclists ahead and we're coming up to the brow of a hill. We've just seen a car appear the other way. We've now got a limit point, but actually the car in front of us is dictating our speed because we need to maintain a 2-second gap from that car in front.
Yeah. So now he's going around the cyclist. We have a limit point at the brow of the hill again, though.
Yeah.
So we'll hold back. And a car approaching. We're entering a national speed limit.
Good.
Bottom of the hill. So I'm expecting it to open up a bit, but we'll see. Limit point moving further away now.
Yep.
I've stayed in third gear just so there's a bit more response if there was an opportunity to go around them, but I'm going to let them turn off.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So you can see that limit point is moving, but now it's started to close down again.
Yeah. And it's still the brow of the hill for me.
Yep.
And we've got a left hand, looks quite tight. Take it down to third. The limit point itself can move very quickly, can't it? These type of bends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can, suddenly open out.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of looking at limit points, to actually control your speed to the point where you can actually see. What you've got to do is imagine that beyond the limit point there's a brick wall. So you must be able to stop in the distance that you can see to be clear. So it's quite in the distance at the moment.
Yeah.
And we saw that car that told us that the road is probably going to go around to the left.
Yeah.
We've just seen this one oncoming from the left.
There we go. And the car's disappeared to the left. The hedgerow's going around.
We're going to take the next turning on the right.
Okay. I can see the sign.
Yeah.
I saw a car in the junction just
Good.
coming out. So
Yep.
we'll indicate and reduce speed now.
That's it. So get the braking done, and off the brake, change gear, around the corner. Maybe a little bit quick into there.
Yeah.
A little bit quick. Maybe brake in a little bit earlier, get that speed off.
Yeah. I think this is something actually identified in the last lesson with Beth.
Right.
As
Okay.
well as, and I think previous ones with you, is the side junctions. I need to find a square somewhere and practice.
Yeah. It's just, I mean, it's almost better to be going into it too slow than too fast. Because certainly on wet weather, going into that sort of manoeuvre too fast, you know, especially in a car like this with a lot of power, you could actually skid. So let's look at the limit points here, because we're on a really good limit point road here.
Yeah. It's moving away and opens out.
Yep.
We're in a fairly open area, so I'll just do the exhaust valve as well.
So that limit point's now coming towards us. We've got to slow in the road, so that's it. That we want to do any gear changing before we actually feed in any steering. Oh wow.
Oh my giddy aunt.
Yeah.
I'll put it back to quiet mode, I think.
So same again here.
Yeah.
Look at how the road is going. That limit point's now moving at the speed that we're moving.
Yeah.
Right, ahead of us now we've just seen
There's a learner.
a learner. Right. So we know the learner is probably going to be travelling a little bit slower.
Yeah, they're allowing me to see around the bend.
Yeah. So we probably want to be a little bit earlier with the braking there.
Yeah. I think
We don't want to be on the brakes as we go around the bend.
I was watching the learner and then, rather than the bend.
Right, we'll see which way the learner's going and we'll go a different way. I would normally have given you instruction by now, but I want to see where they're going.
Yeah. We still don't know.
They're going straight across.
over.
We'll turn left then.
Okay. Okay. I'll allow that.
Okay.
Probably could have snuck out there, but
Yeah, not to worry. Okay. So again, limit points. Up in the distance, taking account of the car in front of us. Okay, so we're going through a village now. Same thing applies, we've still got limit points.
yeah, still the crest of a hill at the moment.
Yep, yep. Now, because we've got a speed limit 30 miles an hour here, going through the village, got no chance of an overtake. We just need to keep the 2-second rule from the car in front. Checking at the time what's behind us. We've got nothing behind us at the moment. Now we're going into a 40. But I can see, I don't know if you can see yet, we've got a bend coming up ahead.
Yeah.
With
see
chevrons.
the hedgerow.
Yeah. So there's your limit point, slowing the road again. Get the speed right now before we start feeding in the steering. Then back on the accelerator. We always want to be under power as we go around the bend. That stabilises the car, gets us on. Now we've got a national speed limit, 60 miles an hour. But again, using that limit point.
Yeah.
Car in front of us speeded up, so there was no chance that we were going to be able to make an overtake.
Yeah. There's no sort of chevron corner signs, so I thought
No.
it was clear it's not going to be that sharp, but
Yeah.
it's not a guarantee. But,
No. No.
But yeah, it's following somebody you can see.
Yeah.
They probably know the road
Yeah.
as well.
We've still got that limit point in the distance. We can now see.
Somebody came across the
got-
junction. And,
Yeah.
it goes off to the road goes off to the right
Yeah.
at the bottom of the hill.
Now I actually saw a T-bone here a couple of weeks ago.
There's it.
Yeah.
So
A Discovery and a Shogun.
you'd think they'd have good visibility as well at the point.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. But people don't see it,
Yeah.
and they just. And I was on another training session, so.
Right. Road going to the right. It opens out through the gap, so
Yeah, good. So that's moving back for a position of safety from the oncoming car.
yeah.
And now you've moved back out again to get a view around that bend, which is exactly what we want to do.
yeah.
And then moving back again for the right-hand bend. will give us a better view as we go around that right-hand bend.
Yeah.
And we're at a good speed here, using the limit points. So here, as the limit point approaches, we'll start easing off the accelerator, and then as it starts to move, back on the accelerator again. Good. Yeah. So now easing off a little bit.
Slow in the road and a sign.
So we've got a bend here. Get that gear change done if we need it. No, we don't need it.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
That's it. And then off we go again. But again, another limit point.
Yeah. It's
So we're off
coming
the
towards
accelerator
us.
a bit. And as it opens, yep,
There it
back
goes,
on.
yeah.
Yep, exactly. So you can see we're using the accelerator sense and braking if we need to actually manage our approach and departure from the limit point.
Yeah. And here we're going up to the national limit
Yeah,
because it's a long way away.
yeah,
There is a sign, give way sign,
yep,
on the bend, so it's starting to slow down now. And the speed limit changed down to 30. So
yeah, as we come into that 30-mile-an-hour zone.
yeah, the give way in 200 and something yard, 275.
There we go.
So we've got
Good.
down to 30, and
That's it. So we're now in a village called Stukely. We're going to turn right when we get to the T-bone, the actual junction, T-junction.
nothing behind us. The Fiesta over there wants to turn, but their door was just open, I believe. So we'll let them go. And it gives me time
He's
to have a
going to
look.
go, yeah.
Here we can hear if something's approaching a little bit as well, but
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a really good tip if you're driving in fog. So if you're driving in really intense fog and you come to a junction like that, and you can't see, wind down your window and see if you can hear anything approaching.
yeah, that's pretty handy. Yeah, sign for pedestrians.
Yep, no footway, so
Yeah,
we might expect pedestrians in the road. And again, limit point.
yeah,
So we have to be on the accelerator to take us up the hill,
yeah.
but not too quick. There we go, it's opened up again, so off we go.
Yeah, and I guess you have to be aware of dips that are hiding something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if we get hidden dips, you need to be really careful. So we can see a sign for a bend.
Yeah. Now we can see the
And there
bend.
it is.
Slow sign.
So looking at the trees will give us an idea of how steep that might be. Yeah, good. And now it's opened up again. But we can see in the distance there a sign for double bend.
More bends.
So we've got to prepare for that now as well.
Yeah, so I'm staying a little bit out here because that's allowing a better view.
That's it.
And there's a left-hand bend to start
Looks
with.
quite tight.
We saw
So-
a flashing light just
Yeah.
over the hedge. It might not be on the road, but
No, it's always important to scan into the fields as well because,
yeah.
believe it or not, at the moment they're harvesting.
Yeah, I heard them last night.
Yeah, so being aware of farm traffic that might come out onto the road is really important as well. Again, we got that bend, so starting to prepare for that. Looks quite tight.
Just avoiding a pothole as well.
Yep. Good.
We can see how it goes around with.
Right, we're going to take the next turning on the left.
Okay.
You can just see the sign through the trees there. So as we approach, checking the mirrors, see what's behind, getting that speed right down. Down, 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 off the brake, change gear, make the manoeuvre. That's better. You see that was much more controlled, much more balanced and stable.
Yeah, and I entered the bend at the time when I could then put the power on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, in a village or approaching a village, still got limit points in the road.
Grab a hill, it was actually difficult to tell which way it might have gone then.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's why, if you can't see, slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was going to be either side of that lamppost. But
Yeah, could have gone either way.
got roadworks here, but the road looks clear.
Yeah, mirror check and out. Yeah, good. Laying a driveway.
Yeah, I've got to do that soon. I'll get someone to do it soon.
Yeah.
Okay, left-hand bend sign.
Yep.
So left it in third.
That's it.
The limit point's going away. Slight brow of a hill, but we saw a car coming.
Good. Okay. So we're now just starting to see the signs for speed limit,
Yeah.
which we
Slow and
do a mirror
playground,
check
so-
and then start slowing down. Get into the appropriate gear. Nearly always third for 30.
Yeah. This speedo is a little bit. It's very
Yeah,
sort of
it's
small
quite
scale.
Yeah,
so it goes all the way to 220.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure the car goes all the way to 220.
Right, we're going to come up to a T-junction. We're going to turn
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the trouble when you've got to fit in 220. So, mandatory stop.
Stop sign.
So come to a complete stop.
Stop.
Yeah.
Handbrake on.
Handbrake on.
First gear.
That's it.
Nothing's coming.
Good.
Away we go.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So limit points again. Going to follow the road round.
Okay.
That's it.
Parked cars, so they could be oncoming.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's it.
And national speed limit on the exit. And it's still fairly tight though.
That's it.
Going around to the right. And with the overgrowth as well, it's
Yeah.
less visibility.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, we are in summer now, so the hedgerows are not getting cut as much as they used to, so that impairs visibility as well.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have to be extra cautious with what we can actually see. Normally, you know, in the winter time, I'd be asking you to look across the hedgerows. You might get a better visibility, but, you know, with the hedgerows as they are at the moment, it really restricts. Okay.
Yeah, I suppose in the winter you can physically
Yeah.
see through them, and perhaps a lot of people's lights are on. And
Yeah, absolutely. So we are scanning, you know, across all that we can see, in front of us, to the side of us, and behind us all the time. And that's one of the things, you know, that we've obviously developed over the course, is that now you're scanning to see what's happening all the time. That's it. This is where being in the right position gives you that extra view.
yeah, that limit point was kind of matching
Yeah.
our speed to start with. Now in a 40 limit and a bend approaching, so bring the speed down.
Good. That's it. So we're always pushing ourselves, keeping the car really nice and stable.
It's fairly tight there, but then you can see through.
Yeah.
Slow sign and a bend. Pedestrians, no footway. So,
Good.
and a give way
Yep.
around the corner.
When we get to the junction, we'll be turning right.
Just left the gear change slightly late there, but
Yeah.
turning right to the junction.
Yeah. So that tells us that the speed limit is going to drop, and there's a sign for it.
Okay.
So easing off the accelerator, we are going to have to brake. There we go. Now it's opened up again.
Yeah, and it's going downhill into the town, so have to watch the speed. Might run away.
Yep. So getting an idea of which way the road's going to go by the cars in front, where they're going. Now we've got a really steep turn here.
Yeah.
That car looks like it's going to come across.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's out of our way. We don't need to worry about him. That's it. Get the gear change done before we feed in any steering, and we're going to have to come to a
Yeah, we're going to have to
stop. We're a little bit
Yeah, a
close
little bit,
there.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. Idiot. Sorry.
I assume you meant him.
Yeah, he was. Absolute idiot.
Yeah. That gap was disappearing, and I had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone has to change their speed for you, it's just a sign that it's going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's what we do not want. Remember, smooth, unobtrusive
Yeah.
progress. If someone has to alter their direction or speed for us, then that's
Yeah,
not unobtrusive. So you can see hopefully now how using the limit points has allowed you to come across that road nice and smoothly at a good speed, at or near the speed limit.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know you
Yeah.
can stop if you need to,
Yep. Right.
and at the same time you're ready
Preparing
to.
for that 30-mile-an-hour limit now.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Right, and then we'll turn into the car park.
We give way to the pedestrian if he needs it now.
Yep. And he didn't even look.
Yeah. We've had a few instances.
Yeah,
of
we've
that
had a
today,
few
but,
instances of that today. Maserati. Is it
Yeah.
Maserati?
It is, yeah.
Indeed. Wow. Why he's parked like that, I do not know.
Yeah, probably
It's a bit greedy.
protecting the car.
It's
I
taken
guess,
up
but-
about 3 parking spots, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's reversing in a car that you're not absolutely familiar with is interesting sometimes.
Yeah, the mirrors have been a bit odd. They move to try and help you, but then
Then they don't.
Then, yeah, the left one achieves a different angle every time. It seems.
That's people trying to be too clever. Can't believe he's parked like that. Jeepers.
Yeah.
Oh well. Right, good. Yeah, so that was good. Anticipation is good. Your hazard identification is good. Bends, we need to get those. We need to get the car in the gear.
Yeah, I feel like I've taken a step backwards today. Maybe,
Well,
or I think I was about there, and then now
Yeah,
I'm
but
leaving it a bit late again.
what happens though, or what tends to happen, and what we find is we're concentrating on one thing, so the other things take a little bit of a back step because you're thinking about, you're concentrating on the limit points that we were working on today, and therefore other things tend to take a little bit of a step backwards. And that's what I want you to work on for next time, is making sure that the car is in the correct gear, ready for the bend that you're coming up to, or the junction that you're coming up to, because the second junction that we did, where we got the speed right down in Winslow, or coming out of Winslow towards Great Hallwood, that was much more stable, and we were nice and controlled around that junction. The junction that we did first out toward Newton Longville, when we were going along there, because we were going too fast as we approached the actual junction, it all got a bit quick, which on a dry road like today is not a problem, but if we'd have got wet or icy conditions, then that could have turned into a problem. So don't be afraid, especially at the moment, to get the speed down earlier, because what will happen is, as you get more used to the speed that you need to be at, your braking towards the junction can be a little bit later but a little bit more firm. Whereas now, what I'd rather you concentrate on is getting the braking down to get down to the correct speed, and then making that gear change, and then getting round the junction.
Okay. So
Yeah.
as it becomes more natural, I guess, then the it's an interesting point about you might leave your braking slightly later, but firmer as you get the timing right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're doing on roundabouts, you need to do at junctions as well. Because on the roundabouts, you were getting your speed right, you were looking for the gap, and we were getting onto the roundabouts into nice gaps that had appeared on the roundabout. So you were adjusting your speed correctly as we came to the roundabout. For the junctions, you didn't. It was just a bit too late. And, well, certainly that first one, a bit too late and a bit too quick. Yeah. Acceleration sense and the use of limit points. Yep. I think you understand that now. I think you've got that.
Well, thanks very much, Alan.
That's all right.
Another fun day.
Yep.
Like you say, looking forward to thinking about mock tests soon, and
Yeah. Another few sessions, I think, and then we'll be getting there for that.
Yeah.
Then, of course, once you've done your mock test, we'll put you in for the real test, and then that generally takes 2 or 3 weeks beyond that, just to get you assigned to an examiner.
Yeah.
So
Excellent. So stepping up my practice as well. And,
yeah.
looking
I mean,
forward to
that's one of the key things of this course. You can't emphasise enough that these sessions give you the tools, but you have to practice between the sessions. We've talked about what I'd like you to do between now and the next session when we meet, and that's always what we would do at the end of each session. It's almost like homework, and it's really, really important that you do your homework, because if you don't do your homework in between, and the sessions are the only driving that you're doing, it just makes it so much longer to actually get those the system into your head and into the way that you actually drive, because that's the important thing, is that you walk away from the course with the tools to actually be an advanced driver for life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks
Cool.
again. I've enjoyed today. Hope you
Good.
enjoyed the Aston as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
We'll be-
it's nice to be in different cars. Yeah.
We'll be back in the Lotus for the rest of it, though.
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no worries.
So, and please check out Alan's channel, Advanced Driving Techniques,
Yeah.
the other videos in this series, and I'll see you again. Thanks very much.